Greetings and welcome. I'm Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well. I remain humble in the presence of spirit. Trigger warning: the subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime events, including of children. All cases are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. In today's cold case, I'm looking at the case of Lindsey Baum, who had unfortunately had vanished on June the 26th, the evening, and was only discovered much later, unfortunately, having been buried. And at this point, there's still no anyone apprehended for the crime. And we've had a few leads over the years, and Lindsey was actually walking back home from a friend's house in the evening. So we'll get into the specifics in a minute. I would just like to thank you for those that participated in trying to help me find the date of birth of the possible alleged murderer. So thank you all very much, and I do appreciate your engagement on the channel. All right, here we go. So to start the episode, I'm going to look at Lindsey Baum's date of birth. And she was born July the 7th, 1998. And at the time of her passing, unfortunately, because we know that she was found, her remains, was in a 10-1 year. And I mentioned this in a previous video. You know, when a child is at the age of 10, in and around 3 months before 10, 3 months after 10, the child is actually actualizing and coming into their own, as you will, as the individual, the one, the person. And this is the phase of her life that Lindsey was in. So born July the 7th, 1998, we see the 7 plus the 7, which gives us the 14-5. And she's born in 1998, and if we add that up, gives us the 27-9. And then the combination of the 27-9 and 14-5, because of the 9, kind of repeats itself. So she was a life path 14-5. And I would just say, just a few notes, nothing too personal. The double 14-5s in her date of birth. One, she will receive or attract the unwanted male attention. And it also gives her the ability to repel unwanted male attention. Now, having said that, now that we take the age into account, of course, she's still very young here. And of course, unfortunately, these 14-5s always bring around the arseholes. And on a lighter note, the 14-5s, I would believe, in conjunction with the double 7s, that she would have been a bit of a tomboy. She would have been milling around like any other person, like, for example, giving her brother grief over the bike and sending the brother home, who was actually older than her, I believe. That's what gives her the 14-5s, that strength to deal with that level. So obviously, if she's dealing with that level on her own age, she can repel those issues. And the double 7s give her the sense of adventure. I would imagine she would be quite a busybody, always exploring out there, having fun. And the 7s, you know, people with 7s in the main, they are, as much as the number 7 is about justice, yes, but they also don't like authority per se. And they certainly don't like being told what to do. So 7s also don't necessarily like, ironically, what is the word I'm looking for? Like the funnel systems that we call schools that funnel us in from a very young age, pop us out at the end, decode us of any natural abilities, and we humdrum into a system of education, which is the bigger picture society, right? How the fodder machine keeps us all drilled in. But the sevens don't like that at all. As much as they are authoritative figures themselves, they also don't like authority. So 7 speaks about freedom, and the minute you start constricting a person's freedom, particularly with 7s, that's when all hell will break loose. So unfortunately, Lindsey passed at a very young age. And again, when you look at the potential of these numbers, it gives her the fortitude to be in politics if she wanted. She could have been in business if she wanted. She could have been dealing with a lot of community-based type activities if she wanted. And in fact, even with these numbers, if she ever wanted, she could have been a police person. But certainly the 27 nines, which I believe is going to play a significant role in this case, unfortunately, which I made a discovery a little bit earlier once I'd received the date of birth of the potential perp. The 27-9 is going to play a role in this crime, unfortunately. But in the main, 27 is also a very creative number. In fact, now that I'm seeing it properly, 9, with the 9 and the 14 5s, she could have got a degree quite easily. She has the propensity for higher learning, higher thinking, very creative number. In fact, if she chose a creative path, 27-9 with the 14-5s and the 7s is a very creative path as well. So she had the whole world ahead of her, and unfortunately, we will never know what her full potential could have been in this lifetime. So, and I just wanted to read this before we get going. This is part of Lindsey's remembrance garden. Like flowers in a garden bloomed a beautiful child, as peaceful and loving as one could ever find. Echoes of her laughter will always harvest a smile, while her zest for life grows in our hearts for all of time. And she does have a radiant smile and energy about her. So I've got a date of birth here. Now this is the prick here. Paul James Baker, however you pronounce it. No respect from my side. He has now just been recently arrested for another cold case, rape case, the pig. So what are the numbers that stand out for Paul here? So 10-1 significant. And he has the day that he's born with a 9. So that gives a combination of 19, 10, 1. So he's got double 10 ones. And having looked at his date of birth and seen quite a lot of numbers with all the cases we've done, I've seen similar patterns like this before with his date of birth. And you're going to see it in the Kim show, which I'm going to release, about the Korean agent regarded as the deadliest who killed over 115 people in a plane crash. He's got similar numbers. And I just wonder what this guy really did, because these numbers here can be agency numbers as well. You'll find these kind of patterns with people that are hitmen, moving around. And of course, we've just heard the news of the Chinese couple being arrested for espionage there in the US. And in the Canadian show that I did, these Chinese, or the Chinese, are infiltrating everywhere. I've seen in UK, we had the issue there, and we just recently did the Canadian. So the Chinese are everywhere. And getting back on track, we note the 17-8 in the year that he's born. Now, in the negative, this 17-8 in the negative, right? If you've got a 17-8, don't freak out. I've also got a 17-8. But when you're dealing with someone, and I don't have these numbers here, when you dealing with someone of this character, so let me just explain why this block here is significant before we get into the main chart. That set of numbers means he has no aptitude for emotions. 0 emotions. So this guy is effectively a killing machine. And let me explain why. So lots of 10 ones, zeros, ones, right? No emotional numbers there whatsoever. 17-8 aggressive can be very violent. Very violent with the 8s. Now he's got the combinations 36-9, 27-9, 18-9. And on the negative, in a crime situation, we know 18-9 is murder. 27-9, and this is the unfortunate link they have. 27-9 is premeditated murder in the negative. 36-9, this guy can also kill, and what he does to the body is heinous. And in conjunction with the 8s, 36-9. So this guy is a killing machine. 0 emotions in the skull here. Alright, so let's have a look and see what transpired leading up to this event and during the event. So if we see June 24, 2009, so I'm seeing a conflict here, 6 plus the 24, 6, okay? And we have a hidden 30 with an outcome 3. So for me, there's issues going on here already leading up. And the reason why I'm pointing this conflict out is because the conflict shows itself again within the reflection zone of the crime. There's it there. So for me, there is even a chance that Lindsey was stalked by this person. Okay? Or by some coincidence laid eyes on her, and she happened to be around on this day, June 24. Look there. And we have 41-5, 23-5, 14-5. Okay? Now, the reason why I say she was possibly stalked, of course, we see the rude number 15-6. So the pig is around. But there's another number, 44-8. So the crime takes place here in this zone from 9:15 onwards. Lindsey is walking back home in this red zone, and she is never seen again, unfortunately. Now, we have this number here, 16-7. Now, with hindsight and the recent developments around Paul James Bicker, 16-7 speaks about the serial nature, serial killer. Now, when we get into the following midnight to sunrise, we see this terrible number here. And this pings on Lindsey, 27-9. Let me just take this away for now. Lindsey has the 27-9 in the year that she's born. And this is a foundational number. very significant number, speaks about past lives, past histories, karma. And then this idiot here, Paul, has the 27-9. So unfortunately, I believe there's a karmic connection here. And Lindsey, like I say, by chance, 11-2, by chance, crosses his path. But this 27-9 here is unfortunately a bad number. And now the 15-6 is in play. Dirty old man. The perverse male. And we have a hidden intention, 33-6. Now, in this case, the 26-8, which normally speaks about staging, is more, I would say, about the nature of the crime. So unfortunately, violent, unfortunately. And the 17-8, like the 27-9, is there for him, and Lindsey has the 27-9 year. He has the 17-8 in the year that he's born. I'm going to make him a different color for the sake of this, so I'll make him yellow. He's going to have fun in prison, this guy. So he's got the 17-8 in his foundational position in the year that he's born. And we see a 17-8 revealed here at the end of the sequence. Now, interestingly, if we go to June 28, and we'll go down the columns for the 369 summaries. But the next day, there's this would have freaked him out a bit, I reckon. 28-10-1 in the reflection pings on him. It also highlights the serial killer. Everything's coming to the foreground now as we move away from the event. And the 27-9-18-9 pings on Mr. Pig. Now not alibi, let's say his story at the time, because he was one of two people of interest, him and a shop owner. But in the case of Paul, according to him, he was at work. So it couldn't have been him. But CCTV footage at a convenience store or at a garage, petrol, gas station, sorry, we call it petrol stations here. Gas station, CCTV footage sees him buying goods at the same time of the sequence here, which puts him in the area of the time of the crime. Okay? All right, so let's look at the summary information and reflection zones and see where we match with him, all right? So the day because this always bothered me, this 11-2, 11-2, 11-2. Now it makes sense. Check here. Now it makes absolute sense, the bastard. Something happened to this guy at work or before the event, including Lindsey. Something happened to him because we have all these 11-2s brings around uncertainty. Was there job issues? There may have even been his life turned upside down. Whatever it is, there's chaos happening here. But interestingly, we have the 17-8 here. And I'll tell you, with foundational numbers, they are as strong as a outcome number, like a life path number. So we got a ping on him entering. So he's entering, let me just show you. If we take it on the literal, he's entering the crime scene, okay? In fact, let me just... so he's entering the crime scene. And what do we see? All the 10s. 19, 10, 1, 10, 1. I want to say it. Bloody. Anyway. 19, 10, 1. 10, 1. This guy is lighting up like a Christmas tree. We have the 9 from here. 9. 17, 8's lighting up like a Christmas tree. We see an unfortunate 30, outcome 3, unfortunately. And not good, outcome 36, 9. Who's the winner here again? So interestingly, on the +6 zone, whatever this 11-2 happened in his life, whatever happened in his life caused chaos. Now we see the 32-5 at the start of this summary sequence here, which pings on Lindsey. Now we know she was found buried. Now 22-4, beg your pardon, 22-4 will always indicate landfall, land, earth. Okay, and she was found buried. Usually the number 20 with an outcome 2 will indicate water. But in this case we know she was found buried. And here we see it here, 22-4. Within the crime, we see the apprehension and murder of a child with 49-13-4. Now, why would we find a conflict within the reflection zone if he didn't know her? And followed by a 39-12-3, which is the same as abduction. So 39-12-3, constraint against someone's will, is similar to the number 21-3. But why is this conflict here? So this is what leads me to believe that by whatever circumstance or chance, I believe Lindsey may have crossed his eye path, his eye line. And we see a horrendous number like this, 50 with an outcome 5. You don't want to see this kind of number near children or regular people. And unfortunately, it pings directly on Lindsey as well. And I think this was just pure chance, unfortunately. He was in some particular mood or whatever, and unfortunately Lindsey crossed his path, I believe. But in my mind, there's no doubt that Paul is responsible for the murder of Lindsey Baum, in my opinion. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please share your comments and thoughts. I do love engaging with your comments. And I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay alert. Bye for now.